Listen, I've been traveling all day. It's 2 a.m., but the GTA 6 trailer's out, so I thought I had to do a video. I had to watch it on a video. I mean, this is fucking history. This is history. I remember I did this for the first initial trailer for Red Dead Redemption 2, which I posted on Lasers Extra if you want to come watch that. It's old. I don't know. I'll link it down below. But I thought I couldn't not do this. So, well, without further ado, let's go ahead and watch the very first trailer for Grand Theft Auto 6. And then we'll talk about it. Ooh.
Lucia, do you know why you're here?
Bad luck, I guess.
It looks really good. Oh, let's go. Rockstar's back, boys. Oh, wow. Oh, what? Look at that. Okay. God, visually it looks fantastic. You got a fucking alligator here. Very GTA vibes for sure. It looks stunning.
Who's back? The only way we're gonna get through this is by sticking together, being a team.
Interesting. Narratively, we're going to little bits of story here and there.
Trust.
Ooh, I'm liking these vibes quite a bit. Okay. Ooh, coming 2025. 2 years. 2 years out. Wow, there we go. Okay, so initial thoughts. Obviously, it's very much a Rockstar initial trailer, like we got for Red Dead 2, like we got for GTA 5, like we got for GTA 4 and Red Dead 1, actually. Their first trailers usually give you little inklings of story, mainly like where it's going tonally, a little bit of like visual flair. It's mainly for the setting, stuff like that, to give people an idea of like, this is the direction we're going in more than like any sort of specifics. But I like that about Rockstar, you know, their first reveals are always just that, a reveal, right? It's not like a full-on like, oh, here's every single little detail, and they're gonna go fucking radio silent for 12 months now. But that's kind of part of the fun, I think. I think initial thoughts, tonally, I've really liked it. If you know me, you know that my favorite Grand Theft Auto is 4, which, you know, people differ on which ones they prefer and why and etc, etc. But I think for me, what I love about GTA 4 is that it stays true to Grand Theft Auto in that it's a very satirical world, it's very over the top, there's a lot of comedy in there, but the core narrative and themes and story are so, they take themselves seriously in a way, which I really enjoy. I still really like GTA 5, and I mean, I made a video on it recently on the main channel for 10 years. If you want to check that out, I'll link it below. It's a big, deep sort of analysis of what I like or dislike about the game, and overall, I really like GTA 5 a lot. I think it has a lot to say for itself. But there are tonal aspects and structuring parts of it that just aren't necessarily to my taste, and I much more prefer the direction GTA 4 goes in. And I find this trailer, there's almost a tone of like a bit of both. There's a bit of both there. It feels like there's much more of a personal narrative for this one, and I know there's personal elements to 5, don't get me wrong, of course there is, but not in the same way that maybe it gels with me personally. And that's the one thing about this trailer that stands out, that's got me very excited. Among all of the vibes and the music and the beautiful graphics and the landscape and the different areas of this giant, you know, depiction of Vice City that we're going to be getting, what stands out to me is the tone of where it feels like they might be taking character and story, which I just think that stood out to me as like, okay, I think this is very much like, for me, this is quite a me sort of thing. Whereas GTA 5, I liked, I can appreciate, I have good fun with. It never stood out to me as one of the greatest games I've ever played. Whereas this stands out more to me as like something I will really like, and I like that. You've got the scene with the two main characters, you know, they're in bed. There's sort of this very you know, obviously there's going to be sort of this sort of love story aspect to it as well, and the struggles they'll probably go through while they're in this sort of life of crime that you're then playing through, and it's got that whole the GTA of it all. But at the same time, it feels like there's this sort of emotional core that's actually quite strong in the trailer tonally, and that stood out to me, which I know I just said like 60 times, but that's what stood out to me. Other than that, like, it looks great, visually stunning, very much playing with a lot of the things they did with Red Dead Redemption 2 in terms of the, you know, the lighting, the shading, the shadows, the reflections, you know, all of that stuff, which I think looks great, like clouds and, you know, all the volumetric bits and bobs. But what I really liked visually about it, more than, you know, that it looked really pretty, is that stylistically it still looks like GTA. Red Dead obviously looks way more photorealistic. This looks a bit more stylized, which I don't know whether I expected them to stick with a stylized visual for GTA. I thought maybe they'd just fall into the trap of, oh, well, everyone loves how Red Dead 2 looks, so we'll make another game that looks, you know, photorealistic like Red Dead 2. But this actually looks, it's got the stylistic nature that makes GTA quite unique. And I really appreciate that about it. I think that's very cool, while still looking, you know, visually stunning. And I think that's really important, that photorealism isn't what really makes a game graphically. It's usually the art direction of it. And I think that that's really interesting to see that this game has gone down the route of, we're going to make it visually stunning, but there's still a very clear art direction there, which I think is really, really good. And that's not to say that Red Dead 2 didn't have that. Of course it did. It had a fantastic art direction, but the art direction was to be realistic, as Red Dead tries to be, and that works for that story, that game, that world. That's the point. I just like that this game doesn't try to do that again. It goes, well, what's GTA all about? What do we try to do with GTA visually? And then it moves in that direction, and I think that's really good. Other than that, not too much more you can say on this. There's not a lot more to talk about with this trailer. And like I said, they're probably going to go radio silent now for 12 months. It's coming 2025. They haven't announced it. A release date as in like a sort of soon release date, because sometimes they can do that, be like, oh, it's coming out next year, and then they always have to delay it. It's coming out in 2 years, so, you know, well, it could be spring 2025, so maybe not quite 2 years, but there's that. But there's not much more we can talk about. We'll have to wait until we get another trailer where we get to know more about the story and characters, and when they do those gameplay reveals where you finally get to see like, well, obviously this was in engine, but like in-game footage of like them doing things and driving and the gunplay and the movement controls and the stuff you can do in the world, etc., etc., because that's all the stuff that matters, and you can actually sort of digest and talk about what the game will be like. Based on this, you really just get tone, a small inkling of narrative, mainly environmental stuff, which is all very cool. And nice to see, and it's mainly just crazy that GTA 6 is finally a tangible thing that we have seen. Pretty crazy, given we've had GTA 5 for the last 10 years, other than, you know, Red Dead Redemption 2 in terms of GTA. So it's cool to finally have that. Let me know your thoughts about GTA 6 down in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think, because it's always fun to have those conversations. I'm sure at some point on stream I'll talk about it. I'm sure that I'll talk about it on the Horsey and Fox podcast as well. I'll have more of an in-depth discussion about Grand Theft Auto 6. But it's finally here. It's finally happening, and it's going to be a long 2-year wait, but it's going to be very, very exciting. Rockstar games always are. And even if Grand Theft Auto isn't necessarily my favorite thing ever, Red Dead's always been way more my sort of thing. It's going to be a landmark game nonetheless. So I'm pumped. I can't wait to see what else they show, what else this game holds. Looks promising is all I'm going to say. It looks promising from what we've seen, from what little we have seen. It's impossible to determine what the game will be like, but a lot of it's very promising, interesting, shows integrity, and shows a narrative and tone that seems in line with something I'd enjoy. So I guess we'll wait and see. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all soon for something else. Hopefully, I'll do some more variable stuff on this channel in the coming months, and it won't just be Final Fantasy forever, because I would rather blow my brains out. See you, everybody. Bye-bye.